What's going on, family? It's Marcus here again, doing some light work. This is the Enlightened Poet doing some light work with you. I want you to go by my website, theenlightenedpoet.com, and I'll put a link to this. I'll put a link down below for my website, and you can go get the shirt that I got right here, Conscious Minds, and you can follow me at Conscious Minds on Instagram. You can go and get my new best-selling book, Breaking Out, Escape the Fear of Failure. If you get that book, it will show you, teach you, and it will basically put you in the position to win in life, to know how to supersede past your fears. You understand? Because again, this is the no fear zone. So you will supersede past your fears if you go get this book, Breaking Out, Escape the Fear of Failure. Okay? You have entered into the no fear zone. Okay? So you don't need to be afraid here. All right? Because I'm about to give you this work. I'm about to give you some work that's going to enlighten your mind. Okay, number one. Let's just start out with, I've done my introduction. You already know who I am. But let me say it one more time. Follow me on Instagram at Conscious Minds. You can see how it's spelled right here with a Q. Conscious Minds at Instagram, right there. And then go to my Facebook page, Conscious Minds, like that. Go to my YouTube channel, right here where you are now. Subscribe to that. And then when you're done with that, go to theenlightenedpoet.com and then go and download my free 15 Minutes of Fame Manifesto. Okay? 15 Minutes of Fame Manifesto. And FAME is for the acronym for Focus, Attitude, Motivation, Education. But being here with the Enlightened Poet right now, I want to give you some work. I want to bring you a message, because this is light work with the Enlightened Poet. All right? So, going into the topic of today. Today we're going to talk about why marijuana is bad for your spiritual growth. Why marijuana is bad for your spiritual growth. I did this on Facebook Live the other day, and I talked about the reasons why marijuana is bad for your spiritual growth. Here's some of the reasons, and we're just going to get right into this. We're not going to prolong this, because I'm not a person that like to drag things out. I like to get right to the point. Here's the reason why weed is bad for your growth. For some of you who will say that marijuana is a part of the earth, and that's the planet, that's God's plant, whatever y'all want to say, y'all can come with that little stuff y'all want to. That's cool. I'm not here to stop you from smoking. I'm talking for those who want to spiritually grow in this enlightenment community. People that want to be enlightened in the mind. Right? So, you can't smoke weed. And here's why. Because weed kills your senses. Weed destroys all your sensibility. All of it. Okay? It makes you paranoid. Weed is the existential result of paranoia. When you are a paranoid person, and I'm not talking about the kind of paranoia where you're spooked because somebody's around the corner. I'm not talking about paranoia where you're scared because someone is looking out your window. I'm talking about paranoia where you are stuck inside your head. You are stuck inside your mind, and you cannot get out of your own head. And here's why marijuana kills the senses in making you become more consciously aware of your senses. Because I explained this before, you have 10 senses. 5 you know of. You have the touch, you have the sight, you have the hearing, you have the smell, and you have the taste. Now, those are external senses. Now you have 5 other senses that we always tap into, but we don't know how to stay there and maintain those senses. You have the physical, you have the physiological, the biological, the spiritual, the mental, and the emotional sense. You see, when you're dealing with a broken heart, when you got a feeling that someone is cheating on you, when you got a feeling that someone is lying to you, you are tapped into the emotional sense. You just sense something isn't right. And then when you know something is evil, when you know something is lurking around the corner, when you know that there is a probability that you may get hurt in a certain situation, you are tapped into the spiritual sense, your intuition. When you know that when you know the root cause of why you're not focused, why you're not getting to a certain level in life, when you're not exceeding and superseding and succeeding in life, when you know and elevating, when you know that you are not getting to where you want to be in life, and you know the root cause of that, then you are tapped into the mental sense, the psychological sense. And when you know something is wrong with your body internally, that something is hurting, but you can't figure it or point it out what it really is, you are tapped into the biological sense. You understand? And when you know that something is not working right within you, energy-wise, your energy levels are low. You are not as fast as you once thought you were, or you're not as fast thinking as you can be. You're not as fast thinking. You're not moving as fast. You're not agility. You're not as agile as you once were, and you know the root causes of that. That is being tapped into the physiological sense. And when you are tapped into those 5 senses, you are able to listen to your body. Now, what marijuana does is marijuana kills those senses. Why? Because marijuana causes extreme paranoia. Not the kind of paranoid sense that it puts you looking outside your window that somebody is lurking around the corner. But paranoid to the point where you are in your head so much that you cannot get out. And this is why you begin to see people who are on drugs, or people who used to be on drugs heavily, and you can see people walking down the street talking to themselves. Now, nothing's wrong with talking to yourselves in a positive sense like I do when I talk to myself when I am reciting poetry or poems, because I'm a poet. So I recite poetry all the time, but I do it where it look like I am talking to myself. But you got people who are talking to themselves because they've been drugged out of their minds through the drugs they've been taking. And so they are stuck inside their head. And when they are stuck inside of their head, they cannot get out. So what's happening by being stuck inside your head is you become 2 people. See, you ever heard the expression that the engine is running but no one is at the wheel? This is where you see people who are walking down the road. You seen that one lady, you seen that one man walking down the road, and they're crossing the street, not able to understand that they are crossing a busy road, and they're likely about to get killed. They're about to cause car wrecks. They're about to cause accidents because they're not here. The engine is running, but no one is at the wheel. The body is moving, but no one is controlling the body. So they become 2 people because the drugs have put them so deep into their mind, so deep into their own head, that the body is still acting and moving about in life. And so you see these people talking to themselves, walking down the road, walking in front of a busy intersection, in front of cars, in the middle of a busy intersection, likely about to get killed. And you ask, what the hell is wrong with you, man? Why are you walking in the middle of a busy road? Well, that person is not here right now. And drugs is the cause of why that happened. Marijuana it leads to other drugs, but just let's stick to marijuana. Marijuana takes away your sensibility. It takes away your sense of being conscious in both worlds, because you have to live in both worlds. You can live in the spirit world, but you also have to live in the real world, this world. You understand? And so when you are drugged up out of your mind, you are living in one world now. You're living inside the world of your head. There is a conversation you're having with someone else inside your head. You become 2 people. So truly what it is you're actually having a conversation with yourself. See, you having an out-of-body experience, or not even experience, but you are living an out-of-body life, to where you are living outside of yourself. And you are talking to yourself literally like you're talking to another person, having a conversation with another person. Okay? And this is what drugs do. This is what marijuana does. Okay? And you need to understand that marijuana takes away your sensibility. So when you go to the doctor asks you get this series of questions on an application when you go see a doctor for whatever you may go to the doctor for. And on that application, it's asking you a series of questions. When the last time you smoked marijuana? When the last time you drank alcohol? When the last time you took prescription drugs? When the last time you did any of these kinds of things? Why? Because the doctor needs to have a reference point to where your symptom is coming from. Not the drug itself, but he needs to have a reference point for why you weren't able to detect it yourself. You understand what I'm saying? So the reason why you are at the doctor's is because you were not able to detect the feeling that was wrong with you. You were not able to detect what was wrong with you. And so therefore you do what? you go seek out doctors because you're not able to tell something's wrong with you. Like I know people who have cancer, and I know a guy who had cancer, and I think it was stage 3 or 4 cancer in his chest, massive cancer in his chest, but he did not know it. And the reason he did not know it was because he weren't because of the drugs. He was a huge drinker. He was a huge alcoholic, drunk alcohol all his life. You know, big party guy, big guy, big. He was about 37 years old, loved riding four-wheelers, lived in the backwoods of the country, did all those kind of things, did every drug imaginable, drunk everything imaginable, and yet he was living with stage 4 cancer in his chest. Didn't even know he was terminally ill, right? Why? Well, because the drugs have killed his biological sense. The drug has killed off his biological sensibility to be able to detect something was wrong with him. And so by the time he got to the doctor, and the doctor said, yo, dude, you are on the brink of death. Literally. And I mean this quite literally. The moment he went to the doctor and the doctor was able to tell him he was on the brink of death. I got pictures because this is a close relative of mine. Let me just say that. He's related to a close relative of mine. So I knew him quite well. And the moment the doctor told him what was going on, immediately he lost all the weight he had. He was about 230, and when he was told that he had this illness, this cancer in his chest, it wasn't even a week later. He was smaller than me. He was shriveled. I'm 155, 156. He was at least 130. Okay? Tiny dude. Shriveled away massively. Now, the reason why he shriveled away was because of the mind. He bought into the power of belief. He bought into the belief of the doctor. When the doctor told him he was terminally ill and there was nothing he could do about it. And the moment he bought into it, the moment he started to shrivel away. Because here is a man living with stage 4 cancer, not knowing that he was, still with his weight on, still living and drinking and partying it up. He might have dropped dead later. But guess what? He was living as if he didn't even know it was in him. So there's a plus to this because out of sight is out of mind. If you're not thinking about it, it's not there. But the moment the doctor brought it into his mind, he believed into it, he bought into it. What he could have did was not buy into it. And he could have went back continually living his life and died whenever his time came. But because he bought into it, he laid up in the hospital on the brink of death and he died not that long. What I'm saying to you is, he lived not long after that. What I'm saying to you is what drugs can do to your body. It kills your sensibility, your awareness, your conscious awareness and mindfulness. It kills off your ability to be aware of your 5 senses internally, your spiritual, mental, emotional, physiological, and biological senses, and it kills off your awareness, and then it kills off you being mindful. So this is what marijuana does. It pushes you so far into your own mind, into your own head. It gives you the false sense and the false hope that you are actually progressing in life. It makes you believe that you're actually getting somewhere when you're not getting anywhere. It makes you believe that you are making progress when you're not making any progress. It makes you believe that you are doing something when you're not truly doing something, because you smoke marijuana to say to yourself, oh man, I just need to, I need to hit the joint so I can get out. You know, I just need to leave this place real quick. Let me hit the joint so I can leave this place real quick. It makes you think that you are moving forward with life. It makes you think that you are going somewhere in your life when truly you're not going anywhere. You understand? What marijuana does is it does the reverse effect, and it puts you back into your mind. Now, you have people who will say to me and leave in the comments, marijuana healed my auntie, marijuana healed me of pain, marijuana cured me of this, marijuana cured me of that. Now, be that as it may, and you may have cases like that. You may have cases like that where you are one person, you are experiencing a life with marijuana where it's healing you or those around you. You've seen it do miracles. But the majority of the numbers in what I'm talking about is going to be on my side. Because although marijuana has healing effects, it does have spiritual detriment to it. It has spiritual detriment to it. It could cause you, and it has mental and emotional detriment to it. It has psychological detriment to it. It has biological detriment to it. It kills off your senses to be able to feel and tell and be in harmony with your body, to be able to tell when something is wrong. So you're not aware. And then it kills off your mental ability, your mindfulness. It kills off you being mindful of your life around you. So here's what it does. And when you're not being mindful because marijuana has stopped you from being mindful, here's what it can also do. It can bring up thoughts of negativity and what you're not accomplishing in life. And you start to become mindful of all the things you said you wanted to do and you didn't do. You start to become mindful of all the places you wanted to go and you said you wanted to go and you didn't go. You start to become mindful of all of the people you did wrong and how can you fix it. And then there's a good side to it. It causes you to be mindful of the things you have done, the things you have achieved, and the things you have accomplished. And you start to look at that and you start to pat yourself on the back. You start to love yourself once again. Then you start to praise yourself. It has a positive side to it. But it also has a dark and evil side to it. The dark and evil side is you start to think about what kind of person you are as a man or as a woman. How you've connived and cunned and been inconsiderate of other people. How you lied and manipulated people. How you did and said things to get your way. It also points out that dark evil side of how bad of a father or not good of a father you've been. How not good of a wife you've been. It starts to point out all those dark things about you as a character, as a person, and your character flaws. And you start to realize why you ain't getting the love from the universe that you so receive. Why the universe hasn't opened up its arms to loving you, because you get what you give. And if you put out, this is why I'm very careful about littering. If I throw trash out into the universe, then what goes around comes around. It's going to give me garbage. You understand? So I don't throw garbage out in Mother Earth, because I know that Mother Earth is a loving person. She's a loving being. She gives. And if I treat my mother wrongly, you understand? This is why even the Bible says to love thy mother and honor thy mother and thy father. I believe honoring thy mother and thy father physically is an extension of loving thy mother, the father. I mean thy mother, Mother Earth, the water. You understand? You were born in the water. That's why you need to go back to the water. And loving thy father. You understand? The air, okay? The air around you, the air that you breathe is thy father. The one who put air in your lungs. You understand? That's the father. The air, the oxygen that you breathe. That's the father. And the mother is the earth. We must treat her right. You understand? So you have Father Air and you have Mother Earth. Okay? So this is why you need to understand. And you are made up of 3 elements, okay? We'll talk about that later. But this is why you need to understand why drugs is bad for you. It kills off your senses. It kills off your ability. And you want to be mindful of people you're treating wrong. You want to be mindful of the things you're doing wrong. You want to be mindful of what you're not doing right. You want to be mindful of who you're hurting when you're hurting them. You want to be mindful of that. If you're not mindful of that, then you become stupid, okay, of your own error. You become stupid to your own error. You become stupid to your own ways, meaning you become out of sync, out of mind, out of touch with everything that is going on around you. And you're not recognizing the hurt you're causing. You're not recognizing the people you're disabling, and you're not recognizing the pain you are causing yourself. And this is why your life isn't free flowing as it should be. Your life should be free flowing like the river. You should be like the river. You should be free flowing. But you can't live like the river because you are causing blockages and stoppages in your life. And you need to take a look at what you're doing in your life. As far as marijuana goes, if you are smoking marijuana, you are causing yourself to be what? Numb to the pain, or numb to being aware, or numb to being mindful. So you cut off the sensibilities, the internal senses. You understand? It puts you so far into your head where it causes extreme paranoia. And you start talking to yourself. And you start seeing your incapabilities instead of seeing your capabilities. You understand? So you need to be more mindful of seeing your capabilities. You want to be aware of your strengths. But marijuana doesn't make you aware of your strengths or your capabilities. It makes you feel superhuman, super powerful, and you're going to do something stupidly that can cause hurt to yourself. This is what drugs can do. You understand? So you need to be more mindful and more aware. And then you need to understand, on a spiritual level, if you want to see spiritual growth, why that doctor even ask you for things like, have you smoked? Do you drink? Do you smoke cigarettes? Do you do any kind of extreme drugs? When the last time you did prescription drugs? He needs these things because the doctor even understands that you are supposed to be able to detect yourself. What's wrong with you? But if you are in my office and I'm the doctor, then something tells me that you weren't able to detect these things. And why weren't you able to detect these things? Is because you've killed off the sensibilities. You killed off the sense, the internal sense of being able to feel when something's wrong with you. Biologically, to be able to tell when something's not right with your movements, physiologically. When something is not right with your mind, when your mind is going too many places at once, mentally, and you need to be mentally and psychologically diagnosed with the illness, such as, oh, you're just having depression, okay? And I'm not knocking that depression isn't real, but I like what Prince EA said when he said that depression isn't real, and it's true in a sense. And I'm not going to talk about the depression. I'll get on that later. But you need to understand that the sickness you causing yourself, you see, cancer wasn't real to my relative that I know. Cancer wasn't real to him until he went to the doctor for a slight cough. And the doctor asked him those series of questions. Do you do this? Do you do that? Do you do all these things? And he has to answer yes. And the doctor's now looking at him and saying, well, this is why you couldn't sense you had stage 4 cancer in your chest. He went to the doctor's office for a cough that he couldn't get rid of, and he didn't understand why. Here's a man just the day before playing on 4-wheelers. Here's a man just the day before laughing it up, 230 pounds. And the moment he bought into the belief of the doctor, when the doctor told him he was terminally ill, and he was on the brink of death, did his body shrivel away like that because he bought into it now. But out of sight was out of mind. If he didn't know it, he could have continued living his life. But I'm saying to you that you don't want drugs to do that to you. You don't want drugs to cut off the sensibility to what's wrong with you. And then next thing you know, you're on the brink of death and you drop dead. Many people drop dead because they're not tapped into those senses. Many people drop dead daily because they're not tapped into the internal senses. They're not able to feel when something is physiologically, they're not in harmony with their body. They're not able to tell when something's physiologically, biologically, emotionally, spiritually, and mentally wrong with them. They're not tapped into that part of the self. And in order to be tapped into that part of the self, you have to start going within. To always say this, going in is the way out. If you want to find your way out of this, what they call the matrix, or you want to find your way out of this avatar body, you want to find yourself a way out of this, then what you need to understand is you need to start getting tapped and in tune to your senses. You can do that through a method, a myriad of different ways, different methods. Meditation is a way. Prayer is a way. Fasting is a way. Dieting is a way. Detoxing is a way. There are many ways to get tapped into the senses. And you have to do these things to get tapped into those senses. You have to devoid yourself of certain foods to get tapped into the biological, physiological sense of who you are. How physiologically strong you truly are, how biologically your body operates without certain things. You need to get tapped into those senses. You need to get tapped into the sense of meditation so you need to get tapped into meditation so you can be tapped into the spiritual sense and who you are spiritually. You understand what I'm saying? You need to get tapped into love. You need to get tapped into the heart frequency. You need to get tapped into being in love, and you need to get tapped into your your like detoxing ability to be able to detox from certain things, fasting from certain people, so you can see how you are emotionally. You understand? And you need to be able to let certain things go, certain habits, certain traits, certain characteristics go, so you can see how you operate mentally without them. So you can tap into the mental sense. You need to be able to know how you operate psychologically without these things, how you function, and therefore you can grow, you can elevate, you can alleviate yourself from this world, and then you can elevate yourself past this world. You can grow. What you need to do is tap into those senses. But drugs, marijuana, alcohol, all those things kill off the senses, the ability to feel for those kind of things. You see? And once you destroy the eternal senses, then you start to destroy the sensibility to even touch and feel anything, and then you actually do become numb, where your hands is numb, where your mind is numb to situations, where your heart is numb to people, and you hate people for no reason, and your spirit is numb to growth, and you can't grow because you are cutting off the internal senses. If you want to grow, start getting tapped into those senses, leaving the drugs alone. Marijuana is bad because of these reasons. How can you grow if you're not tapping into the ways you need to grow? So I say this and I end off right here. Going in is the way out. You need to detox, fast, meditate, pray, humbling yourself. And then you need to go and you need to forgive yourself for the people you caused wrong, the people you did wrong, and the people you hurt. And then you need to forgive yourself for the things and the pain that you caused yourself. And love who you are. Okay? Love who you are, grow, and be mindful and aware of your situations around you. That's it for me today. Again, I'll leave links to all my social media pages down at the bottom. I would ask that you do go to my website, theenlightenedpoet.com. Go and get the new book, Breaking Out, Escape the Fear of Failure. You understand? And live your best life. Live your best life right now. Live your best life right now. This book can help you, show you how I'm living my best life. You know, books are nothing more than just maps. That's all they are. Books are nothing more than just road maps to getting you a little bit further ahead up the road. You understand? Faster. Books help you get up the road a little faster. It helps you navigate the course a little better. It helps you become a great navigator. It helps you become a great MapQuest explorer. That's what books do for you. It gets you there faster. It shows you a better way and gets you there faster. They're nothing more than maps. And that's what you need to look at books as. This book, Breaking Out, Escape the Fear of Failure, is nothing more than a map to get you to where you need to be. That's it. Okay? But go to the website, theenlightenedpoet.com. Leave a comment. Hit the like button. Please subscribe to this channel. I want to help grow it. I want to help grow the Conscious Minds community, waking people up to the truth, to the reality of what life is really all about. Okay? And living that life. Living their best life right now today. Listen, I appreciate y'all watching. I appreciate y'all who subscribe, and I appreciate y'all who share this download, who shout this around to their people and tell them about my message. Again, my name is Marcus, the Enlightened Poet, and you can find my book, you can find this shirt, you can find other shirts I have on my website at theenlightenedpoet.com. Follow me on Instagram, Conscious Minds, and go to my other pages, Marcus A. Clark. Okay? MARQUBS A. Clark. C-L-A-R-K. Okay? But that's my other pages. Well, right now, just go to consciousminds.com. Conscious Minds, Instagram, and theenlightenedpoet.com and get the book. I appreciate you. I'll see you again. And remember this. Going in, going within is the way out. If you are still searching for yourself, stop looking. If you don't find yourself outside looking, you find yourself going within yourself.